guys, the 97th Oscars are this Sunday. This year, the Best Actor nominees include Timothée Chalamet for his role as Bob Dylan, and Elon Musk for his role as president.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. That's so good. Who's playing the role of Joe Biden? A tree stump? A squirrel? Something with no functioning brain at all? And now, Led Zeppelin. ABC News. As one of the world's leading journalists, Joy Behar in their employ. ABC fake news. Pretty amazing stuff. According to Parade Magazine, they pay her $7 million a year to be on The View, where she demonstrates a level of ignorance rarely seen in public, rarely seen outside of mental institutions, like where they have the, mental institute, like the mental institution in Connecticut, where they have the cannibal that they're letting go. They're going to let the cannibal go free just to see if he eats another brain or another eyeball when they let him out. It's a little social experiment. And the people of the United States of America may be on the menu when they let Dr. Lecter out. I'm having an old friend for dinner. The Democrat Party is dangerous to really should be rounded up. I want to go. Let's go because we had. First of all, I want to apologize to Bobby. The clock ran out on Bobby, and it was my fault. I should have managed the clock more effectively. Should have managed the clock better. But Bobby, thank you for calling in from Niagara Falls, New York. Blind man, where the liberals are attacking him. Well, you really are blind. You support Trump. Oh, you really are. You're a conservative. And then they went and firebombed a Tesla dealership and self-immolated at home, like the mental cases that so many of them are. All right, let's go to this because it was Marco, right, that was talking about the Joy Behar on The View. And these people, can I just say, these people, they are not normal people. They're not well-adjusted people. A bunch of them are out. They're in New York attacking the Jews again. Boy, they hate the Jews. Columbia University and Barnard. Yes. Great stuff. Let's go to soundbite number 8 is where it begins. Let's go to soundbite number 8, numero ocho, as the Democrats like to say, because they're anti-English. And President Trump today going to sign an executive order making English the official language of the United States of America. Democrats might have to self-immolate. They really might. They should have a full-blown Jonestown, like a California-sized Jonestown. That'd be good for humankind. Whereas they don't like humankind, so they won't do it. I'll have to think of another reason to lead them to their final destination. All right, let's go. Soundbite number 8, because The View, Joy Behar, they've decided, now they loved, again, and Elon Musk talked about this recently, they used to love him. Liberals used to love him. He made Teslas, the electric cars. Now they firebombed Teslas. A story in the local news here in Washington the other day that Tesla owners are terrified to be out on the road because Democrats are threatening them and flipping them off like Gene Hackman flipped me off in Montecito, California. But forget about that. And the Tesla owners are afraid to be driving around in their cars in Washington, D.C. because the left is so angry with them that they feel that they're in danger. And the one guy driving around in his rainbow-colored Tesla. And the left, they're homophobic and they're Tesla-phobic and they're Muskophobic because of their many mental issues. But on The View yesterday, speaking of all those negative things, Joyless Behar, she is paid $7 million a year by ABC News. It's not the ABC Entertainment Division. It's the ABC News Division that pays Whoopi and Joy and Happy. What's her name? Sunny. Yeah, Sunny, not Happy. Sunny. They should have another one named Happy on there because it's so Orwellian. But here is a woman ironically named Joy Behar, and she obeys orders like the little Nazi that she is, little fascist, goose-stepping to the party instructions. You must despise Elon Musk, even though you loved him just a year ago. He was a Democrat forever, supporting Democrat cause, made the electric vehicles. And they're like, oh, yes. And then the Biden administration gave Tesla a $400 million contract to make electric military vehicles, which makes no sense. But, you know, he's building the vehicles, not designing the military campaigns. You're in the middle of the desert in Iraq and your car runs out of battery. What do? Call AAA. They come with a charger, you idiots. And now they're yelling at Trump and Musk for a $400 million Tesla contract that was awarded under Biden because their tiny little brains don't work very well at all. But here's Joyless Behar spreading the hate. And Elon Musk, he crossed over to the sane and rational side, just like Tulsi Gabbard, just like RFK Jr. Honestly, Elon Musk, one of the big ones crossing over from Democrat, like Ronald Reagan, like so many others. The Democrat Party is certifiably insane at this point. But here's Joyless Behar spreading the hate on ABC News's TV show, The View. And President Trump, a global businessman, a global brand, buildings all over the world, tall buildings with Trump's name along the top of it. I've seen them in many places over the past handful of years. And multi-billionaire, he's got clothing manufacturing. Hopefully he's going to give Volodymyr Zelensky a collection of ties when he arrives at the White House today, of Trump ties. That'd be a very thoughtful gift. And here's Joyless Behar spreading the hate on the ABC News program, The View.
He's not really bright enough to handle the job. And Elon Musk kisses his butt and strokes his tiny ego, or big ego, whatever it is. And he doesn't get to he can take a nap while the guy was not born in this country, who was born under apartheid in South Africa, so has that mentality going on. He was pro-apartheid, as I understand it.
Yeah, he was pro-apartheid in South Africa. Joy Behar is pro-killing 40% of the black babies in the United States because she's a Democrat, and they love racism and the annual organ harvest. They do harvest the organs of as many of the 1 million plus babies that are sacrificed every year, but pay no attention to that. Isn't that amazing? And it's true, Elon Musk was born in South Africa. And that's so terrible. In Pretoria, South Africa, I've been to Pretoria, South Africa. It has this going for it and that going, and it's a good place to leave. But and then he moved to Canada, and then he moved to the United States and went to University of Pennsylvania, an Ivy League school. Then he went to California and started creating companies, and never mind all that. Amazing stuff. He became a Canadian citizen, too. Not sure if his mother was a Canadian citizen, but she may have been. I think she was, actually. His mother, Canadian. Went to South Africa, true love, And then they moved to Canada because his mother, a Canadian, and he got Canadian citizenship. But the hate fest, that is, and stop shooting people, Joyless Behar. I don't think Joyless Behar has any offspring, does she? Because that would involve something that she probably shouldn't and couldn't and wouldn't be involved with. But never mind that. And President Trump isn't smart enough to have the job. He's been elected twice to the presidency of the United States, interrupted by the fascist left and their lynch mob, put everybody in prison gang. Never mind that. And then they got a woman on the show, goes by the name of Elisa Farah. And she heard Joy Behar being an idiot, and Elisa Farah has some information.
He's a naturalized citizen.
Right.
Now.
He's a naturalized citizen.
Now he's a naturalized citizen.
Oh, really? How did he do that? Did he come over the border legally?
He had an H-1B visa, I believe.
He flew in.
Yeah, he allegedly overstayed that visa.
Yeah, but I think this is just perfectly wonderful for Trump. He can take a nap and let this foreign agent, an enemy of the United States, do his job.
An enemy of the United States, a foreigner, a foreign agent. Sig Heil these people are so fascist. They don't know how to spell the word. They don't know what the word means. But these people, this is your Democrat Party. Wait, foreign agent, a foreigner, an illegal alien, accusing him of being an illegal. What did he come across our border? Well, if he did, then you'd have to support him, you criminal. Honestly, you love the tattooed face gang members that are flowing in by the millions. You're waving them in. But Elon Musk is too much. And President Trump, with his global industries and all that he's done in New York City and on NBC, network television, and all, he's too stupid to have the job, according to this incredibly stupid woman, this ignorant woman, this tramp of a nitwit. Can you say nitwit? I think you say nitwit. Just amazing stuff. And they went to a commercial break, and the lawyers were listening. ABC News has lawyers, and they listen to these maroons like Joyless Behar and Whoopi Goldberg, and they say these incredibly stupid things. I think Elon Musk should sue her and ABC News and ABC Network for like $60 billion for this slanderous smear. And it did remind me of Hillary Clinton saying that Tulsi Gabbard is a foreign agent too, right?
I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary. She's the favorite of the Russians. Yeah, she's a Russian asset. I mean, totally.
Russian asset. I mean, totally. She's talking about a Democrat member of the House of Representatives then. And I believe she's a lieutenant colonel of the U.S. Army Reserves now. She served in combat, unlike Tim Walz. Oh, Tim Walz is back, too. Played him yesterday saying that country's being taken over by fascists. Now he's explaining it's like some guy in Idaho or something like that. What a moron. But then they went to a commercial break, and the ABC News lawyers got involved very quickly and said, hey, you can't say people are all these things when it's completely untrue. And he supports apartheid. You support apartheid with your abortion policies. But never mind that. They came back from the commercial break, and the lawyers were still running off the set.
This is one of the reasons I love this show. Go ahead, Joy.
I was just going to say that now I'm getting some flack because I said that Musk was pro-apartheid. I don't really know for sure if he was. He grew up at that time when apartheid was in full bloom before the great Nelson Mandela fixed that. He was around at that time, but maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. He might have been a young guy, too.
Might have been.
So don't be suing me, okay, Elon? They're allowed to say any lie they want, but we have to be really strict. That's why this show's important.
Yeah.
That's why this show's important. And Whoopi, this is why I love this show, that we lie and slander people all the time. And then we talk to our lawyers during the commercial break and come back on and pretend to apologize and beg people not to sue us after we've slandered them with malignant falsehoods. Isn't that amazing? They're all Democrats, every filthy, stinking one of them. Aren't they amazing? Yes, they are. The New York Post has the story, Joy Behar rips Elon Musk as pro-apartheid enemy of the state. Quickly walks back comment. Don't be suing me. That's all in the headline in the New York Post. The View co-host Joy Behar embarrassingly walked back, claims she made that billionaire Doge chief Elon Musk is a pro-apartheid foreign agent who's an enemy of the state. They are the fascists, and it's the old Russian playbook. You accuse the other guy of doing whatever it is that you're doing. We know that as the Soviet Russian playbook, and the Democrats have adopted that Soviet Russian playbook in the United States. They're not on our side, and they'll defend the illegal alien gang members at schools, but not the students that can't read or write. The all-new third-generation Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier has finally arrived, and it builds on the incredible success of the previous two generations, which quickly became bestsellers and 5-star reviews all over Al Gore's amazing internet. The new Thunderstorm uses two technologies that studies have shown help to kill up to 99.9% of bacteria and viruses. Also removes dust and pet dander and smoke and anything else from the air that you don't want to breathe. No filters to buy and replace again and again, too, like so many air filters. The Thunderstorm will help get rid of any stinky smell, guaranteed. litter boxes, smelly shoes, a teenager's room, left-wing protesters, no match for the thunderstorm. And this week only, and today's Friday, you buy one thunderstorm, get one thunderstorm for free. No matter how many you buy, you get an equal number for free. So you can put them all over your house, bring them to the office, make a gift of one. Just go to EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code ChrisBogo, for buy one, get one. ChrisBogo. To buy one, get one free. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ChrisBogo. Yeah, Joy Behar, ABC News. Aren't they amazing? Firebombing Tesla plants and graduating girls that can't read and write. Your Democrat Party supporting gang members at schools. That's just in 1 hour of radio. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at WashingtonTimes.com/Chris. Volodymyr Zelensky is at the White House meeting with President Trump now. He didn't wear a collared shirt, but he did wear kind of a Nehru collar this time around with a couple of buttons in the front, which is formal wear. Give him a flashlight, and it's evening wear because the more things change, the old saying. It's amazing stuff. All right, let's go back to the phone. So we've got more. I got RFK Jr. for you. The Democrats want to lynch him. He's in grave danger. Elon Musk is in grave danger because the left. Much of the world is in grave danger because of the left, and the Democrat Party is the left. Make no mistake. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jay, calling from Lexington, Kentucky. Jay Mobile, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hi, good morning, Chris. I'm going to be traveling to Washington, D.C. this spring to see the cherry blossoms bloom, and I was curious if you could give me a little advice for etiquette. I'm going to be carrying some marshmallows and stick with me in case I come across somebody self-immolating, and wondered, is it okay for me to do that, or do I need to bring some for everybody?
That's an important question. I think maybe USAID would have to fund the marshmallows, and you want to use metal, what do you call those? Skewers. Metal, thank you. Metal skewers for that. You don't want the wooden ones. You want the metal skewers for your marshmallows while you're roasting marshmallows over self-immolating Democrats as they set themselves on fire, which has become very trendy. Very trendy. Do you have to bring enough for everyone? I've got to say this early on, Jay, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good to know. That's. I just wondered what size bag I need to carry with me.
Yeah, I think that you're only responsible for yourself for now. Now, later on, we may have to bring some for everyone. Now, every child of 6 knows at this point that the Democrat Party is the party of slavery in the Confederate States of America and the Civil War, the first American Civil War. They're the party of plantations and bullwhips, and I heard screaming and bullwhips cracking and how long. Sorry, I slipped into lyrics there. The Democrat Party is the party of every single Jim Crow law in the history of the world. They're the party of standing in every single schoolhouse door. Democrat Governor Orville Faubus at Central High in Little Rock, Arkansas, 1957. Republican President Dwight David Eisenhower had to send the 101st Airborne in to move the corpulent Democrat out of the school door. Governor George Wallace standing at the school door in Alabama. Everybody that stood in the schoolhouse door was a Democrat, an elected Democrat. Sheriff Bull Connor, an elected Democrat, leader of the Democrat Party, with the fire hoses and the dogs during the Civil Rights Movement. They're the anti-civil rights people. And because they've secured information dominance in the United States in the media and academia and in publishing, they have erased their own history. When the Nancy Pelosi's of the world go to remove all of the racists from the U.S. Capitol, the paintings and the statues and so on, every single one of them that they removed was an elected Democrat because they're the party of racism and everything else. Now, they're the party of racial segregation. They have blacks-only graduations, Asian-only graduations from colleges and high schools. That's called racial segregation. They're the party of old-time racial segregation. They're the party of new-time racial segregation. And now in St. Paul, Minneapolis, St. Paul, in Minneapolis, where they have that Tim Walz guy. We played him being an idiot yesterday, audio of him being an idiot yesterday, and he then was an idiot again after we played the audio, and perhaps we'll get to that. But here we are in St. Paul, Minneapolis, where they produce a lot of lunacy in Minneapolis these days, and in Minnesota more broadly as well. The people they send to Washington, elected people, that idiot Walz that they made the vice presidential running mate to Kamala Harris and all that good stuff. Now, St. Paul High School field trip canceled after anti-white racism complaint filed. An anti-white racism complaint? How can that be? Highland Park Senior High School event was billed for those who, quote, identify as a student of color. A student of color, that's an SOC. Like WOC is woman of color, a student of color would have to be SOC, because they're segregationist racists. They like to divide everything and everyone along lines of race. Division, racial division. That's one of the centerpieces of the Democrat Party today. A St. Paul High School field trip set for Thursday, that's yesterday, was canceled this week after a federal civil rights complaint alleged it discriminated against white students by being tailored specifically to students of color. It's racial discrimination. It's discrimination based on race from the party of the bullwhip. The event offering exposure, got to look out when they use the word exposure and they're talking about children, because the Democrats, to digital marketing and advertising careers, violated Title VI of the Federal Civil Rights Act. They violate Title IX all the time. That's guarantees equal rights to women in education and in sports. And the Democrats violate Title IX, discriminate against women constantly by having men compete as women, among other things. Also, you see they just win a lawsuit where they can put condom vending machines in kindergartens and primary schools and high schools because... And liberals are like, yeah, that's real good because, I don't want my 4-year-old to get pregnant at kindergarten. The Democrat Party is very, very unwell. So offering exposure to digital this and digital that violated the Title VI of the Federal Civil Rights Act and the district's own anti-discrimination policy, naturally run by left-wing liberals. It violates their own anti-discrimination policy and federal law, but they do it anyway. Said Mark Perry, a retired professor who has long taken aim at such alleged missteps. It's not really a misstep. That's not what it is. So the Democrats there, and this is making news in Great Britain too, the Daily Mail. Minnesota high school forced to cancel no whites student trip after civil rights complaint. Oh, who would complain about such things? So a high school in Minnesota forced to cancel a field trip scheduled for only students who identify as a person of color after a civil rights complaint was filed. And this is the Democrat Party. They are the party of everything racist, and they always have been. Just an appalling gang of racist miscreants, aren't they? Yes, they are. Are they good people? No, they're not. No, they're not. Story of another Democrat. IRS, Internal Revenue Service contractor Charles Littlejohn leaked Trump tax returns, but we're now learning how much damage he really did. Isn't this amazing? Washington Examiner and the wonderful Byron York on the story, a real reporter. And he understands the English language, and he writes well, too. Imagine that. But this guy, Littlejohn, who stole Donald Trump's IRS contractor, stole President Trump's tax returns turned him over to Rachel Maddow and radical left-wing extremists. IRS contractor Charles Littlejohn, like Robin Hood, leaked Donald Trump's tax returns, but we're just now learning how much damage he really did. For much of President Donald Trump's first term in office, the coalition of Democrat activists and media figures, known collectively as the Resistance, La Resistance, they believed that obtaining Trump's tax returns would be the key to bringing down the president. Finally, on September 27th of 2020, at the height of the Trump re-election campaign, the New York Times reported it had obtained tax return data extending over more than 2 decades for Mr. Trump and the hundreds of companies that make up his business organization, including detailed information from his first 2 years in office. The paper, the New York Times, published several long articles based on the information, stolen illegally, felony violations, by the way. So viola, he writes, that's voila, but I like to say viola because it's a stringed instrument. Voila, the holy grail of resistance. The problem was that the stories came and went and did not bring the huge earth-shaking scandal the anti-Trumpers had hoped. Now, the long-awaited bombshells weren't really bombshells, as is so often the case, and the political world moved on. But now we know that Littlejohn actually stole all kinds of tax information for people that he considered to be his political enemies. And that would be anybody who's on the side of the United States of America and law and order and decency and all that. So amazing stuff. According to the Justice Department, between 2008 and 2013, Littlejohn worked intermittently for Booz Allen Hamilton. He then left, but in 2017, he sought a return to the company, and this time with the intention of accessing and disclosing tax returns. The returns he planned to disclose were Trump's, naturally. The Justice Department said Littlejohn viewed the president as dangerous, a threat to democracy, Democrat Party talking points. The left is a threat to all of humanity, to human life on Earth. But isn't that amazing? Turns out that Littlejohn's job at Booz Allen Hamilton gave him access to vast amounts of unmasked taxpayer data, including tax returns and return information. And according to the Justice Department, they included Trump's tax returns, but many of his companies, Littlejohn came up with sophisticated, detailed scheme to conceal what he was doing, and the work took him months. And the Examiner and Byron York go on with, Littlejohn is not finished. Littlejohn gave that trove to left-wing media outlet ProPublica and to Rachel Maddow and the New York Times, and ProPublica published all this phony stuff. Littlejohn was caught. Republicans on Capitol Hill discovered just how much damage he had done. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan asked the IRS for the number of taxpayers and other entities, private taxpayers, Littlejohn stole and leaked. And turns out that there are a whole great many. IRS spokesman said the number was more than 70,000. 70,000. Stole 70,000 tax returns from people that he thought he could get into trouble because they weren't left-wing radicals like him. Just amazing stuff. But now in the new response, Littlejohn, the IRS said, has mailed notifications to 405,427 taxpayers whose taxpayer information was inappropriately disclosed by Littlejohn. He should do 1 year in jail for each of these offenses. But the Democrats are going to defend him. They'll throw themselves in front of trains to defend him. Now we know just how far-reaching Littlejohn's crimes were. Key fact, of course, that his primary target was Donald Trump. Like so many in the so-called resistance and the talking heads in Washington and elsewhere, Little John believed that Trump posed a danger to democracy. It's, Democrat talking points. These are felony crimes, and Little John should pay the price for it. But it's Democrat Party stuff, mainstream Democrat Party stuff, honestly. Has President Trump signed the executive order making English the official language of the United States yet? Has he given a collection of Trump ties to Volodymyr Zelensky yet? And this is, President Trump has ordered, the administration has ordered that DEI, all these diversity, equity, inclusion projects that the Democrats have inflicted upon civilized people, President Trump, no more DEI. We're not funding that stuff. It's racist. It's segregationist, just like your field trip in Minnesota and everything else you do. Local DEI consultants struggle and pivot under Trump. Oh, wait a minute. And they've got school systems and Democrats across the country who are refusing to comply with federal law and executive orders because they're radicals. And, and the FBI is too busy booby-trapping Republicans. Also, we've got the anti-Semites are on a tear in New York City at major universities, dressing like Hamas terrorists, taking over buildings, threatening Jews when they see them. And that's the Democrat Party. And then they call other people Nazis. They don't understand what Nazis were. But they're awfully close to being Nazis now. I didn't get to the story when we were talking about Joy Behar, but it's a funny one. The New York Post. Morale low at The View. After the hosts were asked to dial back Trump criticisms. That's kind of a funny story. That's from several days ago now, but made me laugh when I saw it this morning again. Yeah, these criminal Democrats, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Also, the Democrats are trying to blame RFK Jr. for there was a child died of measles in Texas, and the Democrats are trying to blame RFK Jr. for it. RFK Jr., soundbite number 11, actually talked about it because there's an outbreak there among a Mennonite community, which typically is not vaccinated. And RFK Jr., his confirmation hearing, said no, he's in favor of measles vaccines. He's in favor of polio vaccines. Just not every vaccine that rolls out, every day without proper research. And RFK Jr. having to defend himself because he's being accused of being responsible for the death of a Mennonite boy in Texas who died of measles, probably as a result of illegal aliens flowing into Texas.
Watching it, we put out a post on it yesterday, and we're going to continue to follow it. Incidentally, there have been 4 measles outbreaks this year. In this country last year, there were 16. So it's not unusual. We have measles outbreaks every year.
It's not unusual to have measles outbreaks. And at his confirmation hearing on January 29th, this came up.
I support the measles vaccine. I support the polio vaccine. I will do nothing as HHS secretary that makes it difficult or discourages people from taking either of those
anybody
vaccines.
who.
And they attack and they accuse and they smear and they call everybody names that really reflect more on themselves than anyone else. And for how long has he been at HHS that he'd be responsible for a measles outbreak in northern Texas that among a Mennonite community? These people, aren't they something? They smear, slime, slander, they make stuff up. Very fertile imaginations. Speaking of which, I guess the Oscars are this weekend. Is that right? Has anybody seen a movie this year? They're not really making a lot of movies that people want to go see, are they? No, they're not. Pretty amazing sight. Is Don Lemon still in the New York City subway knocking on windows and cackling like a mental case and showing people dirty pictures on his phone or whatever he's doing? These people. Wah. Yeah. Yeah, and I love this headline from NBC News. Woman accused of repeatedly vandalizing Tesla dealership in Colorado arrested with incendiary devices. They say it's a woman. It's a man dressed as a woman. But science is really not their bag. Like Ketanji Brown Jackson, she's a Supreme Court justice. She's a woman, but she doesn't know what a woman is. Today's Democrat Party is, I don't know, maybe we should build a wall. Skype, Skype, that video streaming thing, shutting down for good. Shutting down for good on May 5th. Skype will go away. R.I.P. Skype. Isn't that amazing? Now, we just got the soundbite of the day, because Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky showed up at the White House today, and President Trump came out to meet him, and I mentioned earlier that he showed up and he's got a shirt with just a black shirt with like 3 buttons on the going from the center. What do you call that kind of thing? A half something or other. And President Trump made fun of him when he showed up, got out of the limousine at the White House, and President Trump says, "Oh, you got dressed up today." And Volodymyr Zelensky said, "I had to. I'm coming to the White House." And then Trump turns around to the press and yells at a guy, "Hey, you got dressed up today."
Yes, I had ready clothes. How are you? Ready shut? He's all dressed up today.
He's all dressed up today. Volodymyr Zelensky. Trump's got to give him some Trump ties. He's all dressed up today. That is pretty funny, I've got to say.
He's all dressed up today.
That's great. Oh, man. Yeah, I want to say, Kevin pointed that out, right? Yeah, hey, what did Trump? He say he's all dressed up today. That's pretty funny stuff. Now, in California, Mel Gibson, who turns out was born in New York, but then lived as a teenager and in Australia, and then he became a big movie star and filmmaker and stuff. And Mel Gibson, his house burned down in the fires recently in California. Now there's an effort underway to recall Gavin Newsom as governor and kick him out. Mel Gibson is very much in the middle of that.
There is absolutely no adequate excuse the governor or mayor can make for this gross mismanagement and failure to preemptively deal with what they knew was coming. Newsom, since he's been in, whatever you call it, office, has brought us nothing but rampant crime, acute homelessness, horrendous inflation. He's made it untenable for people to make a living here.
Trying to make a living, and I'm doing the best I can. Well, it looks like the weekend is nearly upon us. I would like to thank all of you for being great Americans and knowing right from wrong, and for thinking for yourselves and raising children to be normal adults, because we need more normal. Remember normal at the Chris Plant Store on Al Gore's Amazing Internet. Have a great American weekend. God save us all.